I have the review! Oh, hello there. My name is Seth. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing / rating the movie Masters of the Universe. Now, this movie is directed by Travis Knight, and the cast stars Nicholas Gunzine as Adam Glenn, aka He-Man, Camila Mendes as Tila, Idris Elba as Duncan, Jared Leto as Skeletor, Alison Brie as Evelyn, and so many other characters in this movie. Now this movie is very comedic, it's adventurous, does have some action in it too even, and just a coming of age kind of heroic story, Now I'll be honest with you, going into this I knew very little of He-Man and all that universe it provides. I did know that it was an animated TV show back in the 80s that was really popular. When you think of those kind of animated TV shows back then, you always think of like Transformers, G.I. Joe, and one of them being He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And of course too, that show got so popular back then that it even got its own, Masters of the Universe movie back in the late 80s. So some time has passed, and now we got another one. Now after watching this other one, I gotta say, I think I gotta start watching that TV show because I really had a fun time watching this. It was very colorful, the atmosphere was really nice, and too, it just felt really good. Like, Nicholas Gunzine as He-Man really did a great job, with his performance. When he had to be funny, he could be funny. When he had to be serious, he could be serious. And he really just looked the part as, like, He-Man. Now, getting into this, it does play the basic tropes, of what a movie in this sense would kind of be like, really fighting yourself, having a group of team all come together to fight evil and to deal with your past failures or just your past regrets, Now, Adam Glenn, aka He-Man, he is the prince's son to King Randor, who was king of Eternia, this mythical place with, talking lions, dragons, swords, all the magic, and all that stuff. And he's not your average kid. He's kind of shy, Not a lot of people don't think he's really worthy to become king, and stuff like that. But throughout this movie, he will come into his own and really shine, We have Tila. Now Tila is also friends with Adam Glenn, They've been friends since kids, and she's really a brave, independent, strong woman, that really kind of gated after her father, who her father is Duncan. Now Duncan was a soldier to King Randor, who actually was played by James Purefoy, who when I heard that news, I was so excited because I love him. I think he is so underrated as an actor, just overall great actor. Now he, as James Purefoy, is King Randor, as I said. And Duncan really took pride in being a great soldier, He helped train other people to be soldiers, and when he was on the battlefield, he was always doing a great job fighting. But one day, he loses a fight, and at that fight too, he really loses himself. Starts drowning in self-pity and alcohol too even. But throughout this movie, he would try to get back to what he used to be, a great warrior, a great soldier, Okay, we also have Skeletor. Now Skeletor, can be very dangerous, but at the same time very goofy / campy person. Like there'll be some moments where like, oh wow, and there'll be other moments like, okay, no way they just did that. And some people might not like that and stuff like that. I didn't mind it, But here's the same thing too. I really don't know Skeletor that much, so I don't know if that's just how the character's always been, But as I say, that was, interesting. And the comedic moments too actually help work sometimes, Like I was like, okay, chuckle here, Now, we also have Alison Brie as Evelyn. Now, she's really kind of like, I guess, Skeletor's lover, but also person of the group, She's really a witch that really just trying to, help Skeletor. Because what Skeletor really wants in this world is the sword. Now the sword has abilities of like a god, you know, like power. And Skeletor wants that for all the abilities and just to be ruler of the world. And he'll stop at nothing to get it, you know. Now, the way in the beginning of the movie, you know, Skeletor tries to come in and take over Eternia, which is the place that He-Man, you know, Teela, Duncan, King Grandor all live, you know, to try to get the sword. But Adam has to leave, you know, to try to save his place, basically. And throughout this movie, he will try to come back to save the place and to get the sword of power and become what he was, I guess, destined to be, the savior of Eternia. Now, I'll be honest with you, as I said, I really did enjoy this movie and thought it was good, you know, really colorful, and the atmosphere was really great, you know, really gave you into that kind of like mythology and just fantasy world even, you know. And as I said too, Nicholas Gunstein did such a great job. I also really did enjoy, you know, Camila Mendes. She just really held her own in this, really felt like this. Now they do have some other things, you know, in this movie too, like the soundtrack really was great. You know, it really took from like 80s music and really knew when to make the scene feel great and stuff like that. Like if they're going into an action scene, they had a great 80s song that was gonna play. Okay, if it was time to show like a sad little moment, they had an 80s song for that. So they really knew what songs to put in different scenes to make the scene feel more alive in a sense, you know, or to really make you feel something in that scene. Now, to be honest with you, too, this movie really, too, kind of is, like I said, a coming-of-age kind of thing, because throughout the movie you'll see Adam Glenn from when he was a kid, to when he was in Eternia, and how he was shy and stuff like that, to how he was, you know, as getting into our world, the real world, you know, Earth, and how him trying to fit in, stuff like that, and you know, it's not really great, but going great, but he sticks true to who he is and where he comes from, now getting into where he gets back into Eternia, and how he'll try to fit in and stuff like that, too. Now, my rating for this movie would be a 3.5 out of 5, as I said. I really did enjoy this movie, and, you know, the world building, and the performances. As I say, I think I now gotta start watching that He-Man TV show, because I really was enjoying this, and getting to see all the fantasy and what all this universe entails. So yeah, that was my review and rating on this movie. Thank you for watching as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye!